Ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to Kenya Lens Media, where we talk politics, we analyze politics, and also we give you news updates as they break. So today, I want us to talk about Rigathi Gashagua's speech yesterday. Rigathi Gachagua has been on Rampage, attacking William Ruto vehemently. He has been raising serious questions and also exposing serious scandals in William Ruto's government. But yesterday he went overboard. You know, when William Ruto attacked his family and the will of his brother, Gashagua warned him. But William Ruto continued attacking his family. So Gashagua went forth and attacked him for beating his wife Rachel Ruto daily, to an extent whereby Rachel Ruto goes to events at night wearing black goggles. But now, whatever he said yesterday about the death of Raila has caused a lot of turmoil in the William Ruto's camp. They are now scattered. They are trying to control the damage, but it has gone so far to an extent that they can never erase whatever Gashagua did and the kind of damage he caused. I want us to listen to the clip of Rigathi Gachagua speaking about how Raila died, and he asked some questions that were so let me say the questions were so important. He asked the questions that made sense upon the death of Raila Odinga. Here's the tip.
Nyinyi Wajaluo mjiulize swali. Huyu Raila Odinga alienda India. Alikufa, hakukufa kwa hospitali. Sheria ya mtu akikufa nje ya hospitali lazima ambanyiwe postmortem ijulikane alikufa kwa nini. Nyinyi Wajaluo museme kwa nini Raila hakufanyiwa postmortem kujulikane aliuawa na nini. Harambe. Nyinyi Wajaluo hapo mnabweka. Muulize, huyu Raila alipelekwa ng'ambo na private jet akiwa uhai. Saidi alikufa. Kwa nini hiyo jet haikutafutwa imuleta nyumbani? Aliletwa na ndege ya kawaida kama mzigo. Mjiulize hiyo swali. Nyinyi watu ya Jaluo mjiulize, kwa nini Junet Mohamed na Wanga na Oburu walikataa kwenda kuchukua mwili ya Raila, wakabaki hapa kuuza ODM kwa William Ruto kama Raila hajazikwa? Nyinyi wa Jaluo muulize swali. Ni lini mila na desturi ya Wajaluo imekuwaje mtu mali yake imegawa kabla hajazikwa na hajafikishwa nyumbani?
Okay, we might not agree with Rigathi Gachagua in everything he says, but with this one, he's asking some prominent questions, some pertinent issues upon the death of Raila Odinga. Number one, when someone dies out of hospital, it is required that the post-mortem should be done to the body of the late, so that we can determine, the country can determine what killed that particular person. And in this case, Raila Odinga was a party leader. In fact, one of the biggest opposition party leaders in Kenya for 20 years. And when he died, and the report said that he died out of hospital, there was no post-mortem that was done to his body. Why was the post-mortem not done to his body? Is a pertinent question that Gashagua asked the Luo nation. Number two, Rigathi Gachagua questioned about Raila Odinga being flown to India using a private jet. So going there, when he was alive, he was taken by a private jet. But when he died while in India, as the report said, he was flown back using a commercial plane. Why did the private jet not bring him back the way the jet took him to India? Maybe for medical attention. Another very pertinent question. Number three, Gashagua asked why Oburu Oginga, the elder brother of Raila Odinga, and others, the likes of Gladys Wanga, Junet Mohamed, why were they so urgently selling, there was urgency in crowning Oburu Oginga as the party leader. In fact, even before the body of Raila Odinga touched the country, our country Kenya, the soil of our country Kenya? Why the urgency? Why were they rushing to, to crown Oburu Oginga as the temporary party leader of ODM? Those are the pertinent questions that Gashagua asked yesterday that have provoked bitterly the Ruto camp. In fact, the Kenya Kwanza Brigade and those soldiers and lieutenants of William Ruto, it got them by shock, and they are trying to control the damage, but it had gone to a far extent that they can never control it. Today, I saw the South Mogirango Member of Parliament, the Chief Whip, Silvanus Osoro, trying to counter the claims, try to counter the questions, but he had no base to begin with. Silvanus Osoro spoke addressing Rigathi Gachagua over the questions he had asked about the death of Raila Odinga, and all Silvanus Osoro had to say was just let Raila rest in peace. That is what he said. And that one can tell you that they are cornered. Yani wameshikwa makende. They are cornered and they have nowhere to run to. They have nothing to answer. They have nothing, to counter whatever Rigathi Gachagua said. Here's the tip.
Yule mkabila tafadhali, wacha Raila Amolo Odinga apumzike kwa amani. Tafadhali. It is very painful. Baba ambaye ndiye alikuwa kiongozi mkubwa hapa chama cha ODM ambayo ndio imekita mizizi katika sehemu hii. Even having passed on, ile chuki kwake bado kuna watu wanaendeleza na kutumia jina lake. Kama sio kanisa leo, mimi ningewaambia waachane na baba, arrest in peace, wampatie heshima. Lakini kwa sababu ya kanisa siwezi sema, lakini kama sio kanisa ningewaambia waachane na baba, arrest in peace.
Whatever Rigathi Gachagua said, it was said at some point by Cleophas Malala, who is the deputy party leader's DCP. Malala had asked some also important questions when he was being interviewed at Radio 47. He asked the questions that, in as much as many people did not take him serious, did not take the question serious, but whatever he was asking was really making sense. And it shows that there are deep secrets upon the death of Raila Odinga. Deep secrets that maybe, will not come out anytime soon. Malala said something, and whatever he said indicated that Raila's death had so many secrets, because the report said that he went to India alive in a private jet, and then he died while the doctors were trying to resuscitate him. But Ruth Odinga, the sister to Raila Odinga, when he died, Ruth Odinga said when she switched off the machine, she knew Kenya had lost. Ruth Odinga never went to India to bring the body of Baba, was not in India when Baba was taken there. So that means Raila Odinga must have died in Kenya. And then, why were they flying his body to India? Or rather, was his body really in India? Because, the way she said it, it means perhaps Raila Odinga was in ICU in some hospital, maybe in Kenya, and then when it has reached a point of no return, a family member is required to sign some documents, then to switch off the machine. So perhaps Ruth Odinga did switch the machine while in Kenya. So many questions were being raised by Cleophas Malala, questions that brings ambiguity in the reports upon the death of Raila Odinga. And the whole thing is now causing mayhem, is causing a turmoil in the Ruto's camp. Perhaps William Ruto knows what really happened to Raila Odinga and some, few individuals in UDA. And then Cleophas Malala asked another question, that when Raila Odinga was brought, let's say the body was there in the casket, was brought to Kenya at the airport, was it impossible to allow people to go see the body of Raila Odinga at the airport? Or was the body in that casket really? Is another question. want us to watch this, or rather to listen to this clip, because you might say I'm making up stories. Here's the tip.
Mimi nauliza.
Uliza.
Baba alikuwa party leader wa ODM.
Ndio.
For 20 good years.
Yes.
Marafiki zake wakina Junet walikuwa karibu sana na yeye, wakina Wanga.
Ndio.
Wakati baba alikufa, wakasema anda kuleta mwili wa baba kule India.
Ndio.
Rafiki yake Junet hakuenda kuleta mwili ya rafiki yake.
Alikuwa sikii vizuri, amejieleza.
Wanga hakuenda kuleta mwili.
Sijasikia explanation yake Wanga.
Mama Aida sangekuwa ameenda kuleta mwili ya mzee wake.
Alikuwa labda amezidiwa.
Hey.
Mama.
Sasa huyu party leader wa miaka 20 hata kabla muone maiti yake mumeshamtoa mmeka Oburu. Haraka ilikuwa ya nini? Yaani hata kabla muone inafaa saa hii mimi nikisikia wewe Mwakideu umekufa saa hii. Akili yangu yote itakuwa nataka kuhakikisha kweli rafiki yangu ameenda. Wale jamaa wameita presa wanacheka, hata wamesahau baba amekufa. Wakila Junet, marafiki zake wale mtu umekaa na yeye miaka hizo zote.
Now you've heard him. That is Cleophas Malala speaking and asking some important questions. He further asked, when Raila died, let's say according to the reports, they were correct, he died in India. Now when the body was being brought from India, Junet Mohammed, Gladys Wanga, Mama Ida, they never went to bring the body of Raila home. Why? Gladys Wanga, Junet Mohammed, they were so close to Raila Odinga during the time of his, when he was alive. So what changed? Why didn't they go to bring the body? Why did Mama Ida refuse to go to bring them? In fact, I believe that when someone dies, his wife will be the first person to demand that she should be there to see how perhaps the body of her husband is packaged, how he is handled. Many people, many ladies, many women would want to do that. Why did Mama Ida refuse to go to India to bring his husband back? Is another question. Another question that Sifuna once asked also, he asked that Raila Odinga had his own party, ODM, that he nurtured the people, the members, for 20 good years. Why is it that when he died, there were no colors of his party? It has been happening that when a member of the party dies, the casket is covered with Orange Democratic Movement parties, But during that time, it was like the UDA party had taken more concentration, had taken the better part of the whole thing, including the branding and arrangements, that ODM was not given a chance to even don the body of Raila Odinga with the ODM colors, the party he had really worked upon, the party that he worked hard to strengthen. And then comes the urgency of crowning Oburu Odinga as the party leader. Why were they so anxious? Why were they hurriedly crowning Oburu Odinga as the party leader when the body of Raila Odinga has not even reached in Kenya, when the body of Raila Odinga has not been buried? And then the last question that Gladys Wanga asked, the last question that Cleophas Malala asked about Gladys Wanga, that was making more sense than the death of Raila Odinga. Gladys Wanga was seen crying bitterly during the death of Kaspol Kabondo, Member of Parliament, Ongondo Were. But during the death of Raila Odinga, she never cried. There were no tears. So does it mean Ongondo Were was of importance to Gladys Wanga than Raila Odinga? So many questions were asked. And the whole thing about the death of Raila Odinga is now biting William Ruto and his team, because the private jet and so many things. And then William Ruto, during the burial ceremony, he said that he will not allow ODM to perish he will make sure ODM thrives. How the hell can the leader of a different party, take charge and also promise that he will make sure another party that was in opposition thrives? That raises so many questions and question marks. I don't know what you think, but you can give your comment down there in the comment section about the turmoil in the UDA camp as Gashagua raised pertinent questions about Raila Odinga's death. And also, if you're new here, consider subscribing, liking and sharing our content as a way of motivating us and also helping us grow this platform.